So if we look back to 2010, when we first launched Retroviral, I always had this view that there was an evolution of marketing happening. And I always spoke about the holy trinity of marketing, which is pretty much digital, PR, and activation. You require these three elements to work in unison in order to maximize your opportunities to make remarkable content seedable to the right people to generate those results. Over the last few years, that's kind of evolved to a thought process of content plus community leads to commercial results. We see this whole process of the holy trinity of marketing playing out, which is digital plus PR plus activation. And when these three things work in unison, that's when you get the opportunity to make an impact in the digital world, but it's the physical and emotional connection between brand and consumer that will ultimately drive a revenue upside for the brand. And I think that that's where we've always focused. Is we started out with a hyper niche and hyper focus around leveraging influencers before influencer marketing was even a term. We worked with bloggers, tweeters, and other celebrities in certain shapes and sizes in the social space. And by providing them with content that they then broadcast to their audiences through social, we showed brands there was a way to actually captivate your audience and capitalize on those social audiences that they didn't necessarily own, that were earned media. And it was almost like this digital PR process. And then over the years, it's a mixture of gut feel, consuming a ton of content, especially through social, especially through YouTube and Facebook video. The important thing is to understand that key insights, truths, or premises, and delivering those insights to an audience, that gives you as a brand a potential opportunity to tell a story that a mass market, a niche audience, a large group of individuals can then resonate with that audience. It's the kind of thinking of stand-up comedy and observational comedy in particular. If you think of some of the best comedians in the world, if you think of Jerry Seinfeld, Trevor Noah, all of their observational comedy goes back to one space, and that's starting with a single premise or insight, and that premise is something that we can all nod our heads in agreement to. And when you're nodding your head in agreement, you're more susceptible to laughing at the actual punchline or the funny when it's delivered. It's a similar thing with marketing. When that insight is really tapped into and we can generate likes and interests from an actual point of view. If you think about lockdown and all the scenarios that we've been through with trying to wear our masks and take our kids shopping, like all these kinds of scenarios are things that we can all associate with as human beings. We're all part of this human condition. And when you can tap into insights that resonate with certain audiences, that's when you're on the path to actually making content sticky. And by getting that content sticky with an audience, you're taking this emotional journey, you're mapping it to a rational outcome, and you're driving the opportunity to actually make sales for a brand.